My name is Chris Eberhart. I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. Pleasure to meet all of you guys virtually. Today, Claire Bartel, our sales engineer here at Formlabs, will be talking through a live demo of the Form3L ecosystem, as well as discussing some of the benefits of having a large format 3D printer in-house.
So I am Claire. I'm a sales engineer here. I mostly support our North America direct team. So I'm kind of on calls, helping reps, answering questions, all that good stuff. So today we will be taking a look at both the Form3L, which is our large format SLA resin printer, as well as the accompanying washing equipment and curing equipment. So for these SLA parts, for anyone that's not familiar, we are going to be printing them on the machine here, and then they are going to be covered in some liquid resin. They're going to be washed in this machine behind me, and then once they're dry, they get put into the FormCure-L, which is going to kind of complete the resin bonding process on a kind of chemical level, and then get you all your final mechanical properties. So that's kind of the full workflow. That's a little bit of a taste of what we're going to look at, but we will start with the printer itself. And throughout this, I will try to kind of bring in things from, why would you choose this over FDM? Why would you do FDM instead of this equipment? And then just kind of the benefits of having this inside your workspace as opposed to sending out your parts. So having that kind of benefits of having this machine and not outsourcing all of your parts. So to start out with kind of quick tech specs of the machine, we have a touchscreen here that's going to be your print display. You can manage resin that way, kind of see what's loaded into the machine. We have a build platform on the top. This is where your parts are going to build from. So it is inverted if you have any experience with those large sort of industrial SLA printers. So build platform is up here. We have a resin tank. This is something that is material specific once you load a resin into it. So you're going to have one resin per tank, and it's very easy to switch these out because this is dedicated and so is the resin. So I'll put that back in and close that. Your resin is located on this right-hand side. So all of our materials are, for the SLA, are in 1 liter cartridges. So these are going to be automatically dispensing, which is great because with some kind of larger format SLA printers, you do have to maybe babysit them, pour resin into the tank while your prints are going. This one, you don't. So you load these in. They have a little ID chip on the bottom. We are going to be gravity feeding these. So there's a little arm inside the machine that presses this bite valve, pop that open, and then resin will flow into the tank. And this machine holds 2 liters. So you're kind of looking at this build area and thinking, if 2 liters isn't enough for a big solid print, kind of what do I do? Most of these prints, even if they do take up the full build volume, are only 1.5 liters max. So you will start with some resin in the tank. You'll have your 2 cartridges back here. That's enough for leaving prints over the weekend. There's really no kind of rush to go get these prints because as long as they're protected from UV, they're fine. And that brings up a little bit about the print process as well. So we can talk about that. So the way this printer is going to work is you have your tank, your build platform, like we talked about. We are going to prepare the files in Preform. So we have our own slicing software similar to kind of other open source ones or ones are available for other technologies. So you're going to load your STL or OBJ files up in that software. That is going to set all the print parameters. So we do work a ton on those internally to make sure that prints are successful and you don't have to do any tuning there. So it is fairly plug and play that way. Load up your files. If you need a support structure, which for anyone that hasn't printed with a support structure, that is going to take your kind of file and make sure there's enough space for that to adhere to the platform. We will automatically set that up. We will talk a little bit later about some updates that we've made to that just to make that support structure easier. So that is something that is worth considering when you're choosing a 3D printing technology. What is that post-processing work going to be like? So we've done a bunch of work to try to make that post-processing, making sure your parts look good, as easy as possible. Just because one of the benefits you do get from using an SLA system is both that your parts are kind of mechanically isotropic, so they're going to have the same mechanical features no matter what axis you're pulling them in, and they are going to be smooth. So if you have FDM parts and you need them for, say, marketing purposes, one thing that we hear a lot is, I have to spend all this time sanding my parts. These little bit of sanding for those support structures, but you are left with a smooth surface finish. And I can actually pull this one up to the camera. I think it does a good job of kind of displaying that. You can get sample parts from us too. And if you're used to a Form 3, say you've used our machines before, kind of same quality of surface finish, just at a larger scale. So we like to say you get 5 times more printing volume. I think for me, something that's a little bit more useful is just the build platform space. So you have 3 times more build platform space roughly on a 3L than you do compared to a Form 3. So they pair really nicely together if you are a current user. The cartridges are the same, tank's a little bit different, but preform's the same. All the rest, kind of all of the workflow is the same. So if you're not a current user, and if you want to be, you can start on a Form 3, which is our smaller machine, and then add a 3L, kind of very flexible there. So that's something that we recommend too for anyone that is interested in trying a lot of materials. We do have quite a few of those, and sometimes it makes sense to try things out on a smaller printer and then have the large one printing maybe a standard resin like our gray or draft, which is our faster resin.